So I am Dr. Donta Morrison, VP of Community Wellness at MarSell Wellness Center, and I am here to talk to you about our upcoming World AIDS Day event. But I'm not alone in this endeavor. Next to me, I have the phenomenal Gerald Garth from the Ahmad Institute. So Gerald, let the folks know who you are.
Wonderful. Glad to be here, Dr. Donta. And yes, my name is Gerald Garth. I am the Executive Director of the Ahmad Institute. Ahmad is Arming Minorities Against Addiction and Disease. We're based in South Los Angeles and provide a host of programs and services, including housing services, behavioral health services, recovery services, and a number of services that really respond to the communities of South LA, more specifically Black and Brown communities and LGBTQ plus communities.
And Gerald, one thing that I'm elated that Ahmad has agreed to join us for this World AIDS Day event, because for so long people don't really see organizations coming together, especially Black-led organizations coming together to do the work. So when you said yes, my heart leaped, my baby leaped.
Come on, leap.
So what is it about this event that just has you so excited?
Absolutely. Well, like you mentioned, you've been such a great friend and brother in this work for many years, and knowing that there is such a need of us working together. I believe we are stronger together, and knowing what the impact of HIV/AIDS looks like on the communities we serve and represent, I thought it was only fitting that we found a way to work together. I know the great work that MarSell is doing and Ahmad is doing. We have a beautiful opportunity to bring those strengths together to really make an impactful partnership, not just for the World AIDS Day event, but beyond.
I love it. And it's something though, here we are, 30 plus years into the epidemic, and we still have to have a World AIDS Day. We still have to raise awareness. We still got to tell people, about the importance of getting tested and whatnot. Why do you think the work is still on the level that it is?
I think it's on the level that it is for a few reasons. I know we've seen such progress in treatment and treatment education and science and such, but the access to that, those updates in education really looks different. And so much of the work that we continue to do through observations like World AIDS Day really is looking at addressing miseducation, addressing undereducation, addressing stigma, and then also, again, uplifting the importance of knowing one's status. There have been so many advances in what treatment looks like. So if a person is living with HIV, there are regimens available so they can live whole and healthy lives, and people who are HIV negative can do the same. So much of that really comes with education and addressing, again, so much miseducation. HIV looks very different than it did 30, 40 years ago, but it is still very much a reality. And I think having awareness experiences like this really help not only elevate the awareness, but access to education and information for folks to make informed decisions.
I love that. And also what's important, I think that we should address is the fact that MarSell Wellness Center really focuses on mental health. It's all about the mental, and we're just now incorporating, the HIV and STDs and all that other stuff. But then you have Ahmad that's really about substance abuse, use and misuse and whatnot. Neither is like HIV based, where the bulk of the funding comes from HIV money. However, HIV education has a place in both of our organizations. So when we talk about holistic approaches and developing holistic models, what does that look like for Ahmad when it comes to HIV prevention and care?
That is a great question. And so folks might not know, but Ahmad was founded as a recovery organization. We'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary next year, which we're very excited about. So MarSell will definitely be a part of that as well. Yes. But looking at providing whole person care, or even just adequate care, recovery support services, one cannot look at recovery support without looking at mental and emotional health. We can't look at mental and emotional health without looking at food security and housing. And so our founder, Dr. Carl Highshaw, as well as our leadership team as a whole, really recognized in order to do sustainable work, we had to really look at impacts of whole people. And so when we look at how are we layering in mental health and HIV care and recovery support and even ancillary services like legal support and other types of things, it really is necessary that organizations that are doing this work are looking at how are we addressing the needs of whole people. Even if people present with a certain priority need, those are often in conjunction with other needs.
I believe that 100%. I think it's so important. And I talk to Marty all the time, and Marty is the CEO of MarSell Wellness Center. I talk to Marty all the time about, some of the challenges that I see within communities of color when it comes to accessing mental health services or even trusting mental health approaches. Because, just to be honest, most Black people, I ain't going to no therapy because I ain't crazy. You know, ain't nothing wrong with me. You know, I'll be okay. Give me some ginger ale. I'll be all right.
I'll work it out.
Yeah, I'll work it out. I'll push my way through. I'll pray until something happens. And just really avoiding just comprehensive mental health services, or even sitting down talking to an expert about what's really going on, what is triggering you. And I think it's important. So the intention for this event is to bring folks to the table who aren't necessarily involved in the work.
The traditional players.
Right.
Yeah.
To let them know that this is still a problem, and you, pastor, you know, can do some work. You know, you evangelist can do some work. You owner of a foster care agency or a youth home, you need to be at the table.
Absolutely.
Bringing these non-traditional persons, you know, do you think that will help create a shift?
Absolutely. And when we look at the work, I mean, I think you said it so well, even when we look at the stigma and miseducation and undereducation in the HIV space, it certainly has its own levels within the mental and emotional health space. And, you know, so much of the work that we're doing, you know, MarSell and Ahmad and other agencies in the such, is really addressing those stigma in a way in which people can relate and understand. And, you know, you layer in a really key point around underserved communities, more specifically Black folks.
Right.
And up until very recently, mental, emotional, and behavioral health support was not even an option. No. And if you did need some help, where were you just gonna find it?
Right.
Who was gonna pay for it? I gotta work, I have these children, I have these other needs. And it was just, life was not really set up in a way for our communities to really access. And so now that it has been a cultural shift and, you know, increased access opportunities, people need to know about it. And people need to know that, you know, just like other forms of treatment, when it comes to our mental and emotional health, treatment looks like a toolbox. You know, there is value in talking to your pastor, but there's also value in talking to a licensed professional. There's also value in medical assistance. There's also value in inpatient and outpatient. All these versions of what care looks like. And so, you know, when we do this work, and as we do this work in bringing in these non-traditional collaborators, it's important for them to know also that they have a role in this, and how are we aligning ourselves with those tools, and also knowing what our role is not, because a pastor is not a licensed clinician. Very valuable, but two very different forms of support. And so knowing what those supports look like is really key. And so that really, again, elevates why this work is important.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So listen, I know those of you who are watching are probably like, I don't want to go to a World AIDS Day event where they're going to be talking like this. It's too down. It's too sad. It's too this. No. Here we go. Our World AIDS Day event is going to be popping. It's going to be popping. It's going to be at the Gathering Spot, Los Angeles. Full lunch. We got entertainment. I mean, we got a live band. We got singers. We got spoken word artists. And yes, we do have some HIV advocates that's going to drop some knowledge throughout the day. But we want you to come out and have a great time. And guess what? It is absolutely free. It's going to cost you nothing. But seating is limited. Trust me, seating is limited. So you want to RSVP ASAP. And if you RSVP, please show up, because that one ticket that you take, somebody else who really is going to come may not have access. So we want to make sure that you show up on December 2nd at the Gathering Spot, Los Angeles, for our World AIDS Day, post-World AIDS Day celebration from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Gerald, listen, we want folks to come out in their Saturday brunch best.
Yes.
Saturday brunch best. So no flip-flops, no Crocs, you know, no leggings, no nothing like that. We want y'all to come out and pop for the camera, for the red carpet, for the step and repeat, all that kind of stuff. What you gonna wear?
You know, you got to show up and see. People who know I love a bold choice. So show up and see what I'm gonna be wearing. It's gonna be a good time.
You want to make sure that you are there. Joe, any last comments before we wrap this up?
Just really want to, again, thank you, Dr. Donta and MarSell, for creating spaces of collaboration. I say this all the time, and it's become one of my guiding principles, is that none of us have to do everything if all of us do something. So thank you.
Say that to the camera. Say it again.
None of us have to do everything if all of us do something.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Gerald.
Absolutely. Thank you.